All right, so I'll go ahead and go through the process again, and then we can start with our introduction. So my name is Kelly Masterson. This will be the Unit 6 hearing for the National Invitational Challenge. In a moment, I will have the judges introduce themselves, followed by the students introducing themselves and their teachers, and then the judges will read the question and we'll begin. Students will deliver their 4-minute prepared statement, followed by 6 minutes of judge questions, and my microphone will be muted during the hearing, and I will be holding up the 1-minute signs and the time signs. Again, I suggest that you use gallery view instead of speaker view. And then at the conclusion of the hearing, judges will give brief feedback to teams, and then we will conclude. So we'll begin by having each of the judges introduce themselves.
Well, good afternoon, Stanley British. We're pleased to be here and congratulations and thanks for all your hard work. We're looking forward to this discussion. My name is Jeff Owen. I'm a retired business executive here in the Washington, D.C. area.
My name is Tom Tinder and I'm an attorney from Charleston, West Virginia.
Good afternoon. My name is Deshawn Whitaker. I am a We the People teacher at Westlake High School in Charles County, Maryland.
Great. Thank you. Let's have you each introduce yourselves and your teacher, please.
I am Eliza Thorpe.
Hi, my name is Liam Ray.
Hello, my name is David Verholak, and these are our teachers, Susan Cleveland and Mike Mauzalinki.
Great, good afternoon. Your question is question 2. What are the rights and responsibilities of citizenship in a democratic republic? How important, if at all, is voting to maintain a vibrant democratic republic? How best do citizens promote both self-interest and the common good? Do you have an obligation to follow the law even if you believe the law is unjust? Why or why not? Please begin.
Political action is the highest responsibility of a citizen. John F. Kennedy.
The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services list the following rights on their website: freedom of expression and worship as you wish, right to a prompt, fair trial by jury, voting in elections for public officials, applying for employment requiring citizenship, running for elected office, pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
They also include the following responsibilities: support and defend the Constitution, stay informed of issues, participate in the democratic process, respect and obey laws, respect the rights, beliefs, and opinions of others, participate in your local community, pay taxes, serve in a jury, and defend the country.
Voting is listed as a right, not a responsibility, and this is an important distinction. We are not required to vote, but it's important to exercise this right in order to maintain a vibrant democratic republic for several reasons.
Most importantly, voting enables citizens to make sure the government is reflecting the beliefs of the people. Voting is an opportunity to tell the government what your opinions are, and this is how changes are made.
By not voting, your views will not be represented. In 2016, only 54% of eligible American citizens voted in the presidential election. Young people ages 18 to 29 are still the group with the lowest turnout, while those 70 or older have the highest turnout.
Voting is also important because every vote matters. In Alaska, the congressional race was decided by a single vote in 2008. Voting is also viewed as paying tribute to those who fought for this right before us, including many who died along the way.
Reverend George Lee was one of the first Black people registered to vote in Humphreys County. He used his pulpit and printing press to urge others to vote. White officials offered Lee protection on the condition that he end his registration efforts, but Lee refused and was murdered.
Promoting both self-interest and the common good is a particularly challenging dilemma in our country. While self-interest and the common good can align with many major issues, they don't always align. For example, it may be in a company's interest to pollute, but that is not always in the interest of the common good.
These differences have moved to the forefront as more and more previously silenced groups are being heard. For example, equal pay for women to advance the common good.
Another issue with the common good is the free rider problem. This is where everyone benefits from certain public goods, such as roads, even those who do not contribute or contribute unequally.
This free rider problem is potentially enhanced by our country's historical traditions that place a high value on individual freedom, on personal rights, and on allowing each person to do their own thing.
Recognizing these issues is the first step in aligning common good with self-interest. As a panel, we believe that giving up some personal rights will, in the long run, be beneficial. For example, many across the country are giving up their personal right to travel and associate with others in order to socially distance to fight the spread of COVID-19. With the loss of some personal liberty is challenging, it is saving lives and serves the common good.
As a panel, we feel laws that are unjust are no longer relevant, leaving room for disobedience if not changed. As Thomas Jefferson said, if a law is unjust, a man is not only right to disobey it, he is obligated to do so.
In 1955, on a Montgomery, Alabama bus, Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white man, knowingly violating the law of segregation. This act, in conjunction with many others disobeying laws of segregation, led to a Supreme Court ruling that changed these unjust laws. In addition, there are many laws in the books that are no longer relevant or followed.
As citizens, we are charged with the responsibility to follow all laws, as well as the right and responsibility of legal recourse to amend or change laws that are unjust or no longer relevant. We're now open for questions.
Great, thank you very much. We'll now turn to questions. Deshawn, would you like to lead us?
Sure. Explain how and why the natural rights philosophy differs from classical republicanism in respect to the obligations of a citizen.
Do you mind rephrasing your question?
No problem. How is the natural rights philosophy different from classical republicanism?
Well, I find that with the rights that we are granted by the United States Constitution, we do it ties into voting in many different ways, and some of the ways that we are the Constitution gives us certain rights, and we can use to vote, and we can use when voting, and we are able to vote and make changes based on how we vote. And I feel that it is important to vote and exercise this right, and make sure that the changes being made in government reflect those and reflect the beliefs of the people.
Yeah, I agree with our Constitution. It's much easier to change our government with voting.
Great. I guess I'll take the next one. I'd like you to distinguish between civil rights and political rights. Which of those rights protect both citizens and non-citizens living in the United States, and which rights are reserved for citizens only, and why?
Well, civil rights have to do with our main rights as right to free speech and such, whereas political rights are right to vote and things like that. And that's what those are, and the difference between citizens are given many of those, civil rights and political rights.
Adding on to my panel, I think some ways you can access and use your political rights are by voting, participating in your government, and maybe using a bumper sticker on your car and something similar.
You talked a lot about voting. Some countries, like Australia, have mandatory voting, which means that every citizen must go to the polls and vote. Should we have mandatory voting here in the United States? Why or why not?
Well, I find that is something that can be discussed, and while having mandatory voting does help to encourage voting, such as taxing people when they do not vote. There are other ways that you could encourage voting, such as making voting a national holiday. That way, people are able to take off work without fear of losing their job. That's an easy way another way that you could encourage voting, rather than taxing people for not voting.
Adding on to my panel mate, I think that it is important that all people voting are understanding what is best for the country and are informed in what is best and how to proceed in our country and make it better. So I think if we have the national holiday to encourage people to vote and give people time to vote, then we should add courses or information booths so we can help and encourage other people to have educated votes.
Yeah, adding on to my panel mate, having voting be required in countries is a difficult issue because some citizens may not be up to date on news and don't know really what they're voting for when they vote for someone. So I think that I don't believe that we should have required voting, although having better voter turnout is definitely good.
Thank you.
Okay, I would like to stick with the idea of voting. Should people legally residing in the U.S. have the right to vote? Specifically, immigrants who are here and also convicted felons.
Well, I think that in Florida with the law that if I am a convicted felon, I cannot vote anymore. I think that it's a harsh law, and I feel that while they are incarcerated, changes being made in government might not always affect them at that moment, but if they are released, those changes will affect them for the rest of their lives. And I think that them being able to vote and have an input on what will happen to them is very important.
Yeah, adding on to my panel mate, I think that laws in Florida, such as being a felon, you can't vote for the rest of your life, even when you're out of jail. I think that might be a little bit harsh, as people should be given second chances, especially in a country that we have given so many rights to people, that we should be able to allow felons to vote, at least when they're out of prison.
So quick question, should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote in federal elections?
I think that is a question that can be debated either way. I would say that yes, they can, as long as they are being informed and they are taking courses and classes such as the We the People program, and they are informing themselves based on the Constitution, based on issues that are surrounding them, because they can have a huge impact on changes being made. And may I please finish my statement? I think that those changes will affect them, when they're 50 years old. And, there could be a huge law coming out when they're 16. And if they don't have the right to vote on that, then it's robbing them of their.
Great, well done. Okay, thank you very much. We'll have some comments from the judges here. Deshaun, would you lead us, please?
Sorry, my dog is barking. Anyway, yeah, I think you did a really good job on your voting testimony. You did. I love how you tied it in with the state of Florida, and you were able to make it a conversation, and you showed that you were very knowledgeable on the voting subject, and I appreciated that.
I think you did a very good job. I thought it was a very good summary. You demonstrated the knowledge of some of the constitutional issues here and wove those in a conversational way without being dogmatic about it. I like the free rider discussion. I thought that talked a little bit about trade-offs, and with the COVID issue especially, you brought current events in. You did a pretty good job on the questions. I thought you had good teamwork along the way, and I on the various different voting questions, you demonstrate a knowledge that there are trade-offs here. They're not absolute answers. And that showed me that you have an awareness of the broader goal there. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
The best comment I can make is that I would like to spend more time with you. I enjoyed very much your presentation. Very interesting. You gave us some different information than we've heard before, and you worked very well as a team. It was a nice presentation, a seamless handing off from one to the other. It is clear that you all are experts on voting because that's in your wheelhouse. You know voting inside and out, and congratulations to you on that. I would just say to you that overall you did a very good job. You responded to our questions, particularly our questions about voting, and you had an opinion. And that's what this competition is all about. It's not whether you have a right or wrong answer. It's what's your opinion and can you back it up? And you did a very good job with that. Let me thank you and commend you and your teachers for participating in this program and doing such a good job during these very extraordinary times. Congratulations to you and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.